My name is Iris Uruakawa. I'm originally from Arizona.
My name is Tavontae McDowell. I am a student at Towson University majoring in criminal justice, and I am one of the directors of Connections.
I commute a little bit of everywhere. I live in Midtown, so I'm kind of in the middle of everything. So I commute to Highlandtown, to Brooklyn Park, just a little bit of everywhere in the city. For my apartment to Towson, it takes about 45 to 50 minutes, so I always have to take that into account. And if there's any delays with the bus, because sometimes I can just kind of drop out a hat, or if they cancel last minute, I usually kind of prepare for the worst, hope for the best type of situation. The longest I've ever waited was an hour and 30, and that was up here, and I wasn't willing to spend a leg and an arm to come back from Towson back to Baltimore.
The longest I've had to walk after not being able to get to my destination from a bus is like an hour, which I really hated that day. I wanted to go home. And I was definitely late to my job interview.
Bus canceling last minute, maybe like 25%. What I think Baltimore does really good is a lot of the buses will keep going throughout the whole night, which I think is great because, you know, sometimes I do need to catch a bus at like 3 in the morning. What I think could be improved is that they allow free rides every time, not just depending on the mood of the bus driver. Like sometimes they'll let it pass, sometimes they're like, wait a minute, can flash your phone, swipe your card. I buy my ticket online because it's the easiest for me.
There are free lines that you can take in Baltimore. I do also like the fact that like some bus drivers are a little bit cooler than other bus drivers, especially if you're in a pinch and like you kind of don't have the funds to get on the bus. Sometimes they'll just tell you to come on like this. Baltimore's system could be better with like, I guess, getting more bus routes that like connect together, because I feel as though when you're trying to travel from like this point of Baltimore but you want to get here, you have to go all the way around instead of like a link that would just link you from here to there. I think would be better.
Green is what I usually take most of the time. There are times where some people were not in the best like mental states or not having a good time that day and kind of just make it harder on the rest of the commuters.
No arrests in that case. WJZ reached out to the MTA asking about safety concerns following these incidents. A spokesperson told us in a statement, while recent increases in crime in the city have spilled over onto MTA property, they are isolated events and do not depict the full picture of safety and security on our system. Even still, riders want to see more security.
Maybe if you let a police officer, armed police officer ride on the bus every day with the bus driver.
When it comes to safety, I feel as though Baltimore buses they're semi-safe. It depends on which particular bus like routes that you're taking. Specifically like the ones in the inner city past like 8 o'clock and dark, you just gotta have your head always on a swivel.
I don't get off until like 8:30, maybe 9, and I don't want to be walking in the dark at night. Like, I just don't feel safe personally. The red line, like once it hits dark, there are barely any street lights around. You basically have to have your flashlight on just to wave down the bus like once they come, because they will not see you. They will drive past you. Once it hits like 9 p.m. and it's pitch black outside, like you're completely in the dark and you feel very unsafe.
Each day you travel on the bus is a different day in store when it comes to riding the bus. Sometimes you have your calm days where everybody is either minding their own business, to your mild extreme days of somebody getting on the bus of a bunch of stuff asking you, hey, do you want to buy this? I got this for sale. And sometimes you really just got to sit there and mind your business, because if you make eye contact with them, they think that, oh, they got your attention. And in reality, I'm just trying to mind my business and get off this bus.
Two things I always try to carry with me is my pepper spray and my safety pin. So it is dual-ended. It has 2 pointed sides. One is specifically for glass, and then one is for a pointed side. And then because I'm a human being, sometimes I forget when I switch purses. One thing is always your keys. Your keys can always be a tool for safety as well, and how you hold it. So those are the 3 things I always try to keep with me. I'm like, keys are always going to be on me, but these 2 tools are what make me feel safe when I'm traveling by myself. I was on my way to school. He was a common bus driver that I would see on that route all the time, and one day he tried his hand. He honked at me. I thought I had dropped something, so I went back inside the bus, and it was just to ask for my number, and I said no, and he closed the bus on me, and he would not let me out. Someone else had another stop, and I ran out the back. I reported him because I'm sure I wasn't the only one that probably experienced that from him. I thought that it was the best thing to do.
When it comes to like the sense of community, I feel as though Baltimore is a very diverse place where you get to see a lot of different backgrounds. But when I'm riding around Baltimore, I have a tendency to run into one of my grandmother's friends who is like blind. So like when I see her on the bus, like taking the green, sometimes like I get off at the same building stop as her, because she lives in the same building as my grandmother. So like I'll get off and help her get to like her destination and just have a conversation with her, as like I feel good when I'm helping her.
Going down to Highlandtown, because I'm like, that is one of the most like populated Hispanic areas in Baltimore. Like sometimes some of the older women, they're not really understanding like what the streets are. I read the body language, so if I've seen their body language is seeming kind of confused, I'll go up to them and I'll introduce myself really quickly and be like, do you need help? What stop do you need to go off of? It's very intimidating to talk to people who aren't speaking your same language. It can be very difficult for the older generation because they're very stubborn for that reason. I try to help my community in that way, just because I've noticed here the MTA, they don't have any other languages besides English. Even some of the signage, the advertisements, they're mostly all in English. Like only, I think one of the warning signs is in Spanish, and that's it. Including more languages would be helpful, because I know there's way more people on the bus who are not just speaking English. There was this one time, I think she was in middle school. She looked like her English wasn't very well. So she was kind of confused on what stop to go to. The bus driver wasn't opening the back door. He just didn't see her. So I helped her feel like she's entering the back way, and yeah. Routes that I take, I feel like I usually see people who are chatting with each other like they're the regular commuters. I really like the sense of community in the MTA district. When I first moved here, that was one of the first missions for me, was taking a public transit, because that's how I knew I was going to be able to see the city. That's how I knew I was going to be able to like get a feel of like what the actual city is, and be able to like see things, just be able to like stop and like pinpoint is just so gorgeous, and be able to just like go around. Like you don't even have to have like a real destination if you don't want to. But being able to go from one side of the city to the other side of the city is amazing. I think that's very important if you're coming from a different state to Baltimore.